I think we're running out of luck, maybe enough was just too much. Thinking this time it could be fine. I think I'm falling out of touch, my words are always off the cuff. Maybe this time was the last time. I think we're running out of luck, maybe enough was just too much. Thinking this time it could be fine. I think I'm falling out of touch, my words are always off the cuff. Yeah.
Another day, another broken plan. Feels like the world is slipping through my hands. I think I'm losing control. Can't seem to find my way home. I sat and watched my only map turn itself into stone. I'm hoping I can find a silver lining. Transmission, but you're not replying. We're losing signal over the horizon. Left screaming over radio silence. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you're breaking up. I wonder if you'll ever understand. I sacrifice you to avoid the end. Don't think that you'll ever know just how low I would go to save myself from all the madness in your undertones. I'm hoping I can find a silver lining. Transmission, but you're not replying. Losing signal over the horizon. Left screaming over radio silence. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the community coverage of NA Challengers Elite Stage 4. My name is Proper. Joined with me this evening is Mick, and we got ourselves a pretty interesting match ahead of us. We are kicking off our coverage with Easter in Trash Bros. I'll let you all know just right off the rip. This might only be the only game that we have tonight. The main broadcast is already setting themselves up with their first game, which is going to be UT Crew versus Team Nemo. You can find that going on youtube.com/COD Challengers. So let's go ahead and already break this one down because the players are already set to go, Mick. So let's talk about this best of 5 map set very quickly. How you feeling about it?
I'm feeling good. And I know we were talking about this earlier, exactly how the lineup goes. I mean, obviously, I was favoring Trash Bros right off the bat, but you had a couple, I'd say a little bit of controversial points discussing Easter's chances tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at some of this map set. You can see on your screen, Checkmate Hardpoint is where we're going to be kicking off our coverage here between these two teams. And, well, Trash Bros, I mean, they've already made it through. They're not facing relegation. Easter, on the other hand, they are already relegated, but they have a chance to potentially play upset here and not allowing Trash Bros to get qualified for that playoff bracket and see already into Stage 5. Trash Bros with this win here, I mean, go barring any sort of head-to-head nuances, might just be able to get themselves to where they want to be in that top 2 at the end of round robin. But in the opening rip, it's all coming up pretty good for Trash Bros. I mean, Easter did spawn off on the favorite side of the map, but Mock is actually making a heads-up play. They're on 4 straight through their second life. Potential to find number 5. They sure will. And Trash Bros are looking pretty good to break into 2.
Yeah, and just the way these guys have always really played. They've been very good as a collective unit when it comes down to playing as a team, and that's exactly what that P1 is. It's so very contested. It's so kind of in your face, and this is exactly where those guys are going to be playing their best. Only issue is once you get to those later rounds and those later kind of points, that's where they're going to have to isolate themselves, set up for those rotations and those spawns, and I feel like that's where Easter could possibly fit the table.
Easter just can't hold on. It was essentially a 3v4 for that hit that came through the front. Trash Bros have broken on in. They're going to essentially secure the opening 20. And look at the spread that they have. Hollow's going to find a nice little easy 3-piece mock that I don't believe actually ended up earning streaks as well. No, they didn't. So that would have been big in the rotation from going from 3 to 4 if you absolutely needed it. But Trash Bros, as far as their gun skill is concerned, just getting the job done. It is 72-0. 25 seconds remaining inside of this hill. Gravity struggling to find their first kill in this entire hardpoint so far. Trash Bros, they're going to get a what seemingly feels like a flawless opening.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is up to this point. You have an 85-0 lead. I mean, there's just really nothing really advocating for your team right now if you're in the likes of the shoes of Easter. I mean, only issue is they have to set up for this next side. They have a pretty strong hold on it right now if they can set this out, which they do. I mean, just all kinds of shutdowns from the edge. I feel like Mock, though, he could actually pull something out right here and give him a little bit more of a retaliation and get a little game on our hands because, I mean, it's kind of one-sided right now, and I want to see some contention on the point, a little bit of brawls here and there.
Easter are definitely not lacking the gun skill. Just something has been off all the way through this season. I mean, they're only one win. They're 1-5 overall. It was against, Sobriety, where they were able to win 3-0. They're only one on this map mode combo, and, well, they've been absolutely shut on down by UT Crew. They lost here 115-250 previously, but at least they're threatening through the middle of the map. But they would do better just to be able to watch a few more crosses from Trash Bros. That's where they're flourishing. You can see in the kill feed, it's a 3-for-1 trade, though Sib is able to find 2. Hollow trying to track down this trade. It's going to be able to do so, and what is normally a scrappy hill for P3 is actually only favoring, you guessed it, Trash Bros.
Man, and just, I feel really bad. Just look at the way of Easter. I feel like there must be so much going on inside their comms that they're missing out on each other because, I mean, Gravity had a wide open shot right there when they were trying to contest that P3, and overall, just the way that they just, Trash Bros maneuvered across both wings of the plane, getting those picks left and right, and just finding ways for nobody to really snap on them. It almost feels like, I mean, are they playing music too loud right now? I mean, there's got to be something because these guys are no joke by any means.
No, I mean, Trash Bros have also just been making a reckoning through all of Stage 4 thus far. I mean, you talk about them being up at 4-2, the potential to go to head-to-head for the overall when it comes down to that first or second place going for the knockout or playoff bracket that's happening just next week. But they've been certainly solidifying their name. Jerd, though, nice 2-piece. Gonna need some more spunk than just that because Mock, again, off of that start, is up to 14-8. And just being an absolute nuisance, just breaking through the front continuously. But Easter are holding on to P4. It's going to be a P2 side hit for Trash Bros. But most importantly, Easter, while getting some time, already held down the rotation going into 5.
Yeah, and I feel like overall that's exactly what they have to do. The way they play this out, send a couple men forward, get that contestation time, make sure even if you're not getting those points, make sure Trash Bros aren't getting that lead even more so. And the way they're kind of rotating out, holding this out, they really have to just make sure they can hold it down right now. And with John getting that pick, that's going to be a big contributing force to that overall. As you know, these guys are now getting reset, their spawns are on the other side of the map. Only issue is you're going to get that 38, but you have to start looking at these rotations. Otherwise, Trash Bros is just going to run with it once again.
Already trying to threaten in the middle of the plane. Sib has picked up a submachine gun from the ground, though Mock was already holding the exit from that side of the plane. It was a nice heads-up play trying to already create the space because P1 going into the second set of hills can become a money hill. There's still 20 seconds, of course, that's scrap time to fight over here at P5. And while Easter looking like they might just be able to soak up every last bit of it. Here comes the contest. John will not be denied on a 3 spree at this current juncture of time going in towards the second set of hills. Easter have actually clawed their way back. They're going to reach over 100 points as well.
Yeah, and I really like what's going on here, especially from Trash Bros. I mean, we're obviously going to have to wait for the results screen to see whether what they're going for is going to pay off or not. But the way they're just setting up right now, making sure to get as much time on P1 as well as just holding that out, letting them say, you know what, you can have that point. We'll set up spawns. We'll set up for this next site. And being P2 is going to come towards our way, we're going to be able to cash in on this even more so. So I really like what they're going with right now. Easter really just has to get a break and find a way to possibly just give up a little bit of time or just find a way to split up and win these gunfights.
John's just going to end up trying to take it straight to them. 12 and 12 now. Not a greatest start from Easter, but this is how you almost have to do it. You just have to get as explosive as what we're seeing from Trash Bros. I mean, again, Mock up at 20 and 11, 14 now and 11 for Hollow. You look at Yuli, 14 and 10 with a minute and 20 inside the hill. That is just how much work they've been able to find. And with all of that work, Yuli's going to go ahead and check that ping from the artillery strike that they were able to earn. Not going to actually call in the artillery, just making sure that, yes, in fact, Easter are still back here. They're able to at least deal with that in kind. And again, breaking in the rotation to P2 timely, it seems, for Trash Bros.
Yeah, just see Trash Bros trying to make that rotation to go ahead and set up for this next site.
Just flawless from 1 to 2 from Trash Bros from back-to-back hills. They were able to snowball that inside of P1 or inside the first set of hills, excuse me, and you can see what it was able to set up. Going in towards the second, able to do it again. They're over 200 points, just about 100-plus lead over their adversaries of Easter. We'll actually need to turn P3 into a money hill. You're only looking at about 30 seconds that you can give up to Trash Bros. If you go back to it in the first set of hills, I mean, Trash Bros did a great job of just playing the traits, not allowing Easter to get set up inside of P3. They pretty scrappy as far as where all the spawns are coming from. Yuli actually spawned all the way out over by P5, is taking that route towards P3 as we speak. And it's just, again, being a nuisance. Easter just can't lock these players down, but Gravity does find 2. Yuli is able to lock down 2 more players who are already weak inside the hill. Currently, 35 seconds left to play for P3. 20 seconds are all needed for Trash Bros to win the map.
Yeah, just the way this kind of really played to the favor of the Trash Bros. I mean, obviously, don't count anything out. The game hasn't exactly ended yet, but just the way they've held us down, almost doing a one-sided battle, winning those first 2 hills just so dominantly and just being able to play the rest of the game out, literally just on defense. They don't even need to worry about rotations. They can wait for those rotations to come through of those sites and let it come right back to them. And the way those guys just really closed it out there in the end, as you could see in the bottom left, how it was just blue to red for like a solid and what looked like 13 pips right there. I mean, and just this kill right here. I just don't know really what they could have done in the shoes of Easter to flip this.
We just almost have to think, I mean, the uncharacteristic KD ratios from across the board from very notable players, such as Tom Gravity, who is a very, fast and adamant AR. That's uncharacteristic to say the least. I mean, John really tried their best, but on a map like Checkmate, you're not always relying on your submachine guns. I mean, we saw the subs coming out from Trash Bros and finding a lot of value, but it was their ARs that were always setting them up for success. And when you're looking at on the opposite side, especially for Easter, if the ARs are not exactly having a good time against what Trash Bros had to offer, then the submachine guns aren't exactly going to be working their way into rotations. You saw the adjustment try to come through, especially at the tail end of that first set of hills. Easter then just started stacking together, tried to double chow, triple chow, just about everything. But when they had to try to, spread themselves thin, when we are talking about those rotations, they just couldn't lock it down. That's when Trash Bros were able to flourish. The one-to-one gunfights just were always in their favor. Every single trade, every single rotation, it was a seamless, flawless hardpoint. 250 to 104 there on the checkmate. Let's go and take a look at our best of 5 map series. That way you all know what is going on here for us between Trash Bros and Easter. Moscow Search and Destroy is going to be next, and Garrison Control will be our guaranteed first 3 maps. But if we start seeing Easter claw their way back, we will see that hardpoint on Moscow and the Miami Search and Destroy. When you got to think about it, I mean, the Search and Destroy might just have to be a lean back because the fundamentals for Easter, if you go back to even stage 3, although in between the 2 stages, Mick, not having any playtime on Moscow, that's when they were able to really showcase what they got. Again, you're talking about the stage 3 champions here of Easter, 1-5, already relegated versus Trash Bros, but the potential to play upset is still there.
Yeah, and I feel like overall that just plays in the whole way they kind of even played in Hardpoint. They kind of showcase it a little bit. The way that Trash Bros is just playing, utilizing those ARs, I mean, especially in the likes of Checkmate, you have a lot of kind of damage being dealt from all these guys on all different kinds of angles. And once they do actually get to that site, they're already a little bit too much damage. And they know they have to capitalize because after losing P1 and P2, you're a little desperate to get back on the board as best as possible. And I feel like also when it comes around to the likes of Moscow, especially for Search and Destroy, that's going to play into their disadvantage once again if they can't find a way to maneuver as a unit and get around and play that objective as best as possible. Because, I mean, Trash Bros is going to do the same thing that they've been doing best so far. I feel like when it comes around to that garrison, that's when the tables really could flip for their favor because of how one side of that map generally feels. And especially if you can find a breach by any means, it's not going to be easy to break or really retaliate in the shoes of the defenders.
Yeah, in that Garrison Control, especially for Easter, when they did face against, Sobriety, they looked very, very good. Very, very decisive as far as what their setups were. Of course, it went all the way to round number 5, say what you will, but it was what they were able to do when lives in time really started to come down to it. But when you take a look at this for Trash Bros as well, this Moscow Search and Destroy is a well-versed map, so you can almost really assume that this was probably their pick and it came through. I mean, 3-1 overall. Their only one loss was a 4-6 loss versus LAG Academy. And well, if you lose to LAG Academy here, you can't really feel too bad because this is quite literally their home for Search. But even still, all of those verses and everything going into the Garrison Control, who are also 2-0. And just overall, the slaying power that we also saw from Trash Bros. I mean, if you are Easter going in towards the Search and Destroy with everything on the line, you already got relegated. But knowing what could potentially be around the corner for you all, I mean, how are you going to deal with Trash Bros here?
Yeah, I mean, they really just maneuver themselves in a way that's not exactly within the norm. I mean, we do see a lot of B hits nowadays. We see everybody playing towards the middle of the map. I feel like if by any means Easter really just finds their way around the middle of the map, finds that mid control, and just comes for these flanks early on and has that whole mindset right off the bat, that's going to play in their favor a lot. Because you do see these guys, they are in the professional level, they know what they're doing, and they're really confident in their abilities. The only issue is, I mean, usually if you're going to be winning these gunfights when you know you're in the situation where you're not winning them, especially after being in a hard point like that, you need to go ahead and find an early edge in terms of tactics and utilize the objective that's given to you as best as possible, being they're going to be static in those same 2 spots every single round.
It's a good call. Going on, speaking of call, on the opposite side of the spectrum as far as COD Challenges is concerned, don't forget to go give some love to Austin, Allen, and Brody over on the main channel. They are currently casting over Nemo and UT Crew. Nemo, one of those teams that are in that split that are 4-2, the potential to make that playoff bracket and stage 5 and not worry about the knockout bracket is there. But here we go. All 8 players ready to load on in towards this Moscow Search and Destroy. It will be Easter, of course, in the red. They are on offense first.
Wow, and just slow start for offense. I mean, I got to say, honestly, it's unexpected, but I feel like that exactly alone with Trash Bros utilizing some utility, finding a way to get those tactics out, to sit there and kind of get a little bit of information overall that's going to give Easter just that much more of an edge once they do have to get into these combat situations, which is favoring them with how slow they're playing and almost showing that they are going to be methodical this time around.
This methodical play has brought them over towards Globe. Going to throw a couple of shots towards Mock. They were in the cutout wall. Should be somewhat of the information. And Hollow's been holding top PD this entire time. There's the shoulder being thrown. Hollow's at least going to see one cross. Gravity at least trying to hold the angle. So that way they can try to get some ground. But Mock is still going to be able to find 2, actually, re-entering
Jesus
themselves back in
Christ.
towards the instance. And, well, you're down to 22 seconds. That's the immediate consideration. You got to commit towards a site. Jerd is going to get caught in the middle of the square, and you just got nowhere left to go. A wonderful collapse and retake of that general area for Trash Bros.
I mean, Mock with that start. I mean, just utilizing a sniper's nest and not even having a sniper. I mean, just setting it up there in the back, getting those picks, and just using his man to the best power. I got to say, I love the rotation from him, how he maneuvered around the map to really give himself that edge. I feel like overall, Easter, they played it right. They had a really clear sweep right there onto the side. They just overextended and actually gave that intel by just trying to overstep their boundaries. And when you're on offense, you're already going to be expecting the guys to get in your face, come towards you. So I feel like that was kind of a little bit unexpected there towards the end where the combat really started rolling out.
It's not like, I mean, like, Trash Bros didn't even do anything flashy, right? I mean, like, it's just
Exactly.
the right angles, making the right read. Easter just exhausting a lot of time. Now it's Trash Bros' turn for an offense. They're actually going to favor towards this Boulevard hit. Easter sent a lot of players up towards A inside the cutout wall. That's going to be John. I can only imagine they probably have a submachine gun, and that'll be a very tough gunfight for them. But at least the information should be there that a few Trash Bros members might have crossed over. That's going to call for Sib to reposition right outside of the apartment's house. But little do they know, 2 players from Trash Bros have actually worked their way inside of the BS&D site. Didn't try to actually stop planting the bomb just in case Sib was going to push their backside. But it's going to be Mock that is able to find that kill now on 4 straight as the bomb gets planted to B.
Just almost surgical the way these guys on Trash Bros are playing it out right now. I mean, the way they kind of moved in, utilized that time, got that plan, and even sat there and sacrificed it. And with Gravity finally getting a pick on the board for the side of Easter, I mean, just the way these guys can tie it out a little bit, get the whole momentum onto their way again. I feel like with the way this is kind of winding down right now, especially with John getting another one, this could actually be doable for them to get a little bit of breather. But sadly, just Trash Bros still in this, just showing how dominant they are.
Again, like, just surgical, decisive. There's just so many different words that we could just coin here for as far as what we are seeing from Trash Bros. I mean, that speaks both for their offense and defense, but you know, Easter, they've been here many different times and in many different series as well. We want to talk about a core fundamental of search and destroy, trying to not only learn from your opponents, but try to show those adaptations. So Easter, for this offense, are actually going to 4-player deep hit this towards A, but Hollow, they're going to have it lined up. They find 3. It's going to leave Gravity all on their lonesome, and well, here comes Trash Bros. Tom, I'm so sorry, bud, but you're not going to stay alive for too much longer. Actually finds 1 before they go down, but I mean, just when you thought it was about to be an immediate answer, Hollow just goes ahead and pokes their head out from the top side of escalators. We'll see it here. 1, 2, and 3.
You saw his teammates pushing up right there. I mean, I'm sure they were in the comms like, give him the ace, give him the ace. Just give that man a little bit of pleasure tonight, because it seems like that's the only feat that can really be reached right now, because winning is just way too easy for him. Overall, when you're in the shoes of Easter, I'm surprised they're even going for objectives. Looking at these guys' streaks and how they're holding up, you got 2 guys who literally are just a 1 kill and 2 kills off from a streak. You need to be a little bit more aggressive and find a way to shut them out. Otherwise, that's going to almost darn near guarantee that you're not going to find a round on the board, especially when they have those in their back pocket.
Here comes this A hit from Trash Bros. We're going to spot at least 1 player. That's actually over by the shipment side on that brick heady. Mock is able to shut down John.
Wow.
Wallbangs are going to be pristine. Now Sib, next one up is actually going to catch Yuli. Half flashed. You know that Mock is stuck behind Ticket, and that's actually going to call for Jerd to hit it from escalators. Sib, rechalling the angle. It's going to find Jintroy carrying the bomb. Stun, tack mask is a beautiful thing. Now it's all up to Hollow. He's on 6. Would love number 7. There it is. The artillery strike has been earned. Now is looking to keep their life. And there's number 7. Has the cruise missile. So even if you lose this round, it's really not too bad. But this round is very winnable. Quick little check of the artillery strike. Which wants to secure the round. Is going to see Jerd over by the ticket booth, trying to go for the wall banks. 24 seconds remaining. Has to recover the bomb. Sees Jerd trying to go for the challenge. Jerd is able to find a tag, and Hollow will lose the gunfight.
God.
That almost got pretty expensive. Really trying to solidify that round would have been a unfortunate circumstance to go down 4-0, but at least he got the ping out the window and a round win on the board for Easter.
Wow. Just a way right there. I mean, you're just really dancing around these guys, getting those little taps here and there, just finding his way to give himself that edge to be on top. I mean, that alone was that was beautiful. I got to say, that man plays like that a little bit more methodically and just sits back and really plays as that sentinel for his team. I mean, they can really capitalize off that. But we see most of these guys being shoved up so close towards the side as we see them hitting A just as aggressively as usual. And I feel like that's going to cost them when you have teammates who are really not all that bad and can really spotlight a lot once you give them the time to.
It's going to be another A-side hit for Easter. Hollow just doesn't find 3 to start off the round this time around. There, have a sub over here by Pillars. Here's the trophy system going down. It's going to challenge Jerd. Knows that John is over by the bulletin board. Also has a lot of utility to play with, and no one was fully reading the escalator's pinch from Jintroid. 2v3 now as Hollow does bite the dust. Jintroid? It's just going to hop this, and I love this call, because now you just have to check it. John does find one. He's still defusing the bomb. You almost have to get there in time, but Yuli is just holding the angle. Gravity can't win the gunfight. Trash Bros answer right back from that round loss. Make this a 3-round affair.
Yep, just baiting the animal into the cage. That's all you can do when you're put in those situations. You get that plant down, you back off a little bit too much, or you get those picks in the wrong placing, you don't have enough momentum. That's one of the big trade-offs that comes with getting that early plant, that aggressive start, because if you can't find a way to set it up and really get that maneuverance, that whole kind of just agility around the site is not going to pay off for you all that much, because you can be shoved in situations like that. And I gotta say, Trash Bros found every single little weakness and just nitpicked it and absolutely just kind of abused it right there. And I gotta say, that alone is really what's giving them that 3-point head start when it comes to these guys.
We go, another A hit though, goes 1 for 1. John able to trade off from Mock. Still looking for escalator control, and Hollow's just gonna go ahead and put a Semtex in such a pristine spot, looking to hold the angle. Hollow finds the last two. Stop challenging him. Just stop doing it.
Play some Metal Gear Solid, or some Assassin's Creed, something where you're doing a little bit more stealth, or otherwise you have to be so absolutely loud up front that the bang just leaves everybody blind and deafened. And I don't feel like Easter's really bringing that exact firepower to this matchup, especially on something as big as Moscow, to where you have to know the exact right time to allocate all your resources. I mean, there's just too much gambling right now, and these guys are not choosing the right cards. They are hitting a little bit too much, and they're never staying.
Not even a first blood in the round that they won for Easter. Trash Bros, here we go. Are you going to read this hit straight through the middle of the map, and they deal with it in kind? It's just up to John. Oh, the streaks in the world, too, is able to at least get the shot punch on Hollow. That bomb's dropped in quite the precarious place. Outside of Metro, over by the main doors that leads to Globe Statue, but I wonder if Trash Bros even had that information, if they saw the bomb patty cake on the ground. Doesn't seem like it. They're actually rotating together, just looking for the trade. John, I mean, this almost feels like a chess game. They've completely just flipped around the entirety of the map.
It's going to be interesting to see at least what kind of decisions are made right here. I'm sure John's going to be eyeing that B side or finding a way to at least make his way over there, knowing that you're not typically going to stick around there. Otherwise, there be people set up on it right now. But going for that plant, going right there into that, I mean, it's going to lead you right into the lion's den as we see these two Trash Bros really just lining themselves up and getting ready to squeeze this guy like a sandwich.
John still has full utility and plus a trophy, but they don't want to throw it because it's going to give away their position. They're just trying to hold this corner. It's already pre-aiming towards the window, and Yuli just slow chows it and smokes John. Call it reaction time, whatever you may call it, but I mean, Trash Bros, they deal with that 3-player hit straight through the Metro, much like how they did over by that A site. Take a decisive win here on the Moscow Search and Destroy 6-1. They have a 2-0 series lead.
It's just a better monitor, man. That's all it is. We're now in a PC era. We're down to frames per second, and refresh rates are determining battles. That's all it really is, man. That's all it is. If John had a better monitor, it was GG.
I mean, it definitely comes to beg a question. I think that it was only John that was really leading the charge there at the end. That they finished 6-7. Everybody else, you had Sib 2-7, 2-6 for Jerd. Tom also went 3-7 as well. It just wasn't a good game. But I mean, you want to talk about having a good game on the opposite side. An overall good series so far between the two very short maps that we've had so far. Let's go and take a look at our best of 5 map set. Hollow, I mean, they finished 12-3 on that Moscow Search and Destroy. Somewhere absolutely absurd on that checkmate hardpoint. As the score would suggest, it's going to have a couple of Trash Bros player going absolutely AWOL. 250-104 there. A very quick 6-1 here on the Moscow Search and Destroy. And then the Garrison Control is coming up for us. But if Easter somehow are able to win this control, again, we were coining that this would probably be the big turning point for them with that 3-2 victory versus Sobriety to potentially try to reverse sweep this entire series and still look to play upset versus Trash Bros. Trash Bros just look to be undeniable. They want to be that playoff team. They want to already put themselves going into stage number 5. They don't want to go down to the knockout bracket with the potential that is already there. Easter, again, are already relegated, but there's still a lot to unfold, not only on our stream, but of course going on the main channel. You can go to youtube.com/COD Challengers. UT Crew versus Nemo is happening over there. Nemo were able to take the first map of Garrison Hardpoint 250-230, and they're about to be loading on into the Express Search and Destroy as we parallel are going to be running into the Garrison Control ourselves. So we're going to throw things to a very short break, but when we come back, we're going to have that third map for you. Potential of the final here for Trash Bros to go up 5-2 in overall record. Don't go anywhere.
Man,
Oh, good call. Well, yep, you just got just as debated as we did. We thought we were going to come back to a broadcast, but we're actually coming back to a reset of a lobby. It's probably just a setting, maybe wrong. Maybe somebody was not there. Maybe someone is taking a little bit of a wee break. But hey, we are here. It is day 4 of the round robin for Stage 4 North America Challengers proper, and Mick here for your coverage of today's action on the community stream. And well, Easter, they're already relegated, Mick, and they're on the cusp of being 3-0 for their last match of the round robin.
Yeah, I mean, just relegated out of the bracket and really just feel like they're relegated out of the series alone right now. I mean, it's super sad to see, but I mean, these guys have enough going for them to where they could definitely show promise. I mean, we're sitting here honestly hoping, I'm wanting things to work out in their favor because I love Miami Search personally, and I'm hoping things just work out for them. They need a last little hoorah before they go out for the season so they actually have a little bit more film to look at when saying, what do we need to improve? What exactly have we solidified ourselves with? And how is the meta exactly adapted around for us to really get into this stage where we're champions and then we're relegated? Like, really, how has it come to this, and what exactly can we get going into next season? What substance can we find to work with?
Yeah, I mean, whether they stick as a four, maybe Easter just entirely implodes and they see a roster change. I mean, there's just so much on the cards because all four of these guys are just so talented. I mean, obviously they're talented, right? We're talking about the stage 3 champions.
Yeah.
Obviously, they had a great run going into stage 2. They lose Fellow, who then goes to play on the Dallas Empire, and then they end up picking up Sib, which by no stretch of the imagination is a bad AR flex, and they really just go to work. You got 4 grinders, so I mean, the future is always brighter when it comes down to these 4 players, especially for Tom Gravity with the beginning of the season that they had as well. You go back to when they started playing with Wester, of all things, with Paul X, Zap, and Venom. That team was just, I hate to, grab the low-hanging fruit, but they were undeniable. But Trash Bros, on the other hand, they are starting to really grab that hashtag and just break it with their bare hands because, I mean, Mock and Hollow, this is probably the best form that we have honestly seen them since they were actually in the last time that we saw them in the Elite. What was that, all the way back in Elite Stage number 2 when they were playing underneath the team name of Maki Maki. That was actually playing with Sib and Jimbo, funny enough. A little bit of banter, you may think, but everybody here in Challengers plays each other more often than not, whether it's in 8s or not. But again, the way that they've been able to set themselves up, they go into this series 5-2 overall on the search, or on the control, 5-1, excuse me. And again, 2-0 overall, 3-1 versus Sobriety, and 3-0 versus the system. And that was a pretty decisive one that really got me thinking, wow, I think that Trash Bros is the real deal, 3-0ing the system on Garrison Control.
Yeah, and I feel like overall, just looking at what these guys are set up right now, to start off this Garrison, I feel like they got a more nothing going for them to actually find some momentum. These guys are already holding on to this A site, making sure to hold that out. Only issue is you really have to look at those lives in the counter for that. The way they just kind of go ahead and get closed, 3 guys out right off the bat. That's going to give Trash Bros so much room to just breathe and play around this map and just treat it like their domain.
I mean, this is the round run strat. Sometimes you end up seeing some teams end up trying to do this going into a second round or so, but I mean, you see it, and more often than not, I feel like, especially in this stage of the game, it works. A-zone about to be fully secured. What a Semtex from Jerd. Why are you playing COD? Go play shortstop or something. That was insane. Was able to at least get the 2 players for Trash Bros off the A-zone. That's going to start the clock ticking on down just underneath the minute. A tick is all that is needed over by A to get that extra 60 seconds, but you can go ahead and take this if you are Trash Bros and try to focus over towards B, but you got to get through the middle of the map first.
Yeah, and I feel like overall, the way they just held down too, even grabbing that whole entire site, I feel like it really benefits them. I said time and time again, you love to dance around on both those sides, find a little way to get the defenders on their toes and figure out where you're going to come next. And Trash Bros leaving exactly 1 little tick of progress over there. I mean, it doesn't really matter when you got John there in the front getting a double, but overall, when you have more space to work with and you can really utilize the whole entire map instead of being forced to one site, it plays into your favor. The only issue is 18 seconds remaining and Trash Bros not really making another break. That's super concerning for the guys who've done and just played so well up to this point.
I mean, they played so well that they almost got the A zone off the opening rip, but you're able to see just one of the nuances that is Garrison Control, but now you're seeing a second nuance is that it's just overall control. 3.2 seconds. Trash Bros looking to stop the clock. This is a split focus. Gravity's going to hit this from behind. Finds 2. 1 with the shot punch, and there's some help from Lights. That's going to be Jerd. So,
wow.
Just a little beacon of hope there at the end. There was a player that dedicated themselves a heroic 1v1 over by the A zone. Gravity comes towards the back behind Caution. And then Jerd from the pinch from Lights. That could have gone a little haywire, especially from that start that Trash Bros showed.
Yeah, once those rotations came in, those respawns came in, everybody started to hound on the A site because they knew they were going to get those free seconds and find a way to reset the round and really just give themselves more time to play. And when you do that against the Trash Bros, it's really concerning, especially knowing that you're going to have those lives to worry about there in the end, regardless of how well these objectives are looking. And I feel like the way Easter maneuvered themselves really got there into the middle of the map, utilized it as best as possible. Once they finally cleared it out and these guys for Trash Bros were forced to one side or the other for these sites, I mean, just it was a great call for them, and especially a way to get themselves a well-deserved round, and hopefully they can get themselves a map out of that momentum.
How about this from Easter? Just immediately focus towards the middle of the map, right? And rather than trying to force their way over towards the B zone, but they'll only know where Hollow's at. And then Yuli reveals themselves inside of Dark. Hollow finds 2 from that position alone. And look at this from Trash Bros. Able to win that first break convincingly. That is 4 down. Easter not finding a single kill, and they just encroach on forward.
Just the way they're holding this out right now, just super slow, super steady, just waiting for a push of some kind and just finding these guys. Easter, the way they're maneuvering themselves around the edge, TK from Sib to John. I mean, that's not the best situation, especially for these guys and looking at those two as role models. But I mean, when you're playing it out this slow and looking at Trash Bros, they're going to utilize this as best as possible because they know that looking at their defense and search and destroy, how they held things out, they really played the pace and the tempo into their favor. You don't want to give them all this time to work with and really put yourself in a stressful situation.
20 seconds remaining to try to make a play over towards one of these zones is what Easter is trying to do. At least try to find some tick coverage, because you at least have to try to answer that when it comes down to that round 5. It doesn't always come down to kills if you can even up the tick progression, but looks like Easter won't be able to get to one of these zones. They are just being killed off every single time they get a chance, and Yuli is going to find the last 2 in the round. Trash Bros with a pretty decisive defense. And give you an update from the mainstream youtube.com/COD Challengers is that UT crew on that Express Search Destroy I was talking about versus Nemo, well, they just 6-0'd Nemo there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Rex and Method, I think they dropped somewhere near like 16
God.
and a collective 8 deaths between the two of them. It was insane.
These guys are playing pubs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wait, so that series is tied up 1 apiece. That's going to guarantee a map number 4. Again, a lot of stipulations there for Nemo. They would love to be able to get a series win and get themselves ahead. The same thing that we're talking about here for Trash Bros, to go 5-2 in round robin, get yourself first or second spot going in towards that playoff bracket and guarantee yourself that stage 5 position. Is Trash Bros for this next offense or just on one again? I mean, Mock really, again, through 2 rounds, 10 and 6, they've been having a great series.
Yeah, and especially just the way they're holding this out, it really brings the question talking about these guys in the mainstream and really how these teams that overall and as a whole collective league, how they play this out. I mean, looking at the competition between these two right now and looking at what Trash Bros having to go with compared to what Nemo's having to go through, I mean, it really questions who's going to be better warmed up when it comes around to that series and how these guys are going to contest. Because looking at Trash Bros, once again, find themselves a strong start on this site over on A side, and I feel like they're a little bit set up better to actually close it out this time around.
Got 2 players on that top platform. Hollow finds another 2-piece. Both Mock and Hollow on their own respective 3-piece. John at least taking down Jintroy, but you got to give up the A zone. There's just no way you're working back in there, but the B zone is the harder one to defend, and you already got Yuli over there trying to work up towards some objective score. They're already up to 16 for heaven's sake, and on 11 and 8, finding the first tick of progress inside of Lights. Look at Trash Bros setup. I mean, they're looking to close out this round right here. You got Mock just zoning away top green. They're going to have that catwalk control at the same time. Easter are going to have to funnel their way in through Lights, and they just can't even get there to contest. Trash Bros with a great sequence of coming off the A zone towards the B. What a great offense.
I mean, yeah, just absolutely clearing out the A side. They're obviously trying to go for that game plan around on round 1, but after learning, it shows that these guys, earlier I was talking about Nemo having a little bit more to work with and a little bit more competition on their hands in terms of what's being brought to the table and having to make adjustments and keeping that kind of intuition, on its toes and keeping it warm. But I mean, Trash Bros showing that no matter what, even the smallest kind of, instances of mistakes they have, they still find a way to fix it within, an exact round rotation, going back from offense the first time to the second and showing ways just to improve. And I got to say, Easter, they've gotten a little bit more warmed up. So by no means is this so these guys icing out or anything in the likes of that. It's just purely Trash Bros just finding ways to get better.
Big 2-piece there. It's going to actually open up the floor for the A zone. But I mean, Jared was over there by themselves. They lost their other teammates in transition off the spawn. So you can't find as much success over towards the A zone as you were once hoping. That's the Hail Mary play. At least lives are even. Now touching the B zone, trying to keep that clock stalled out. They don't know fully where Trash Bros are located at. Speaking from Easter's perspective, at a 1v1 in the center of the map, Yuli trying to get a little nerdy. The Diamati trying to find that angle, will pop back up. 3-burst gravity right in the dome. It's a 2-for-1 trade, and Trash Bros are looking to zone away the middle of the map. Sib trying to make something out of nothing. They're just going to come up with exactly that. Absolutely nothing so far for Easter.
Oh my gosh. I got to say, I mean, the way they made that A push right off the bat, as you mentioned, trying to go for that Hail Mary play, it works very well if you do get that first start. You go ahead and capture. We saw Trash Bros execute it perfectly. The only issue is once you get wiped out, you lose those rotations, you lose that mid control, you lose that whole kind of breath of fresh air to play around the map a little bit more, and you just get locked back into your spawns. We're seeing really Trash Bros just finding a way to fight that back right now because Easter actually finding a little bit of maneuver into getting onto these sites.
And now you're just going to try to funnel your way in. But, I mean, this is what happened. Easter couldn't end up doing is that their submachine guns were just able to work their way in just flawlessly. Yuli finds the opening, too, and that's going to allow the collapse to come all the way through from lights. Now we're just down to 20 seconds, and there's the insult to injury. Mock is going to call in the artillery strike of which they had earned. It's just going to keep Easter all the way trapped inside their spawn. Going to have a heroic moment here from one of those players. 10 seconds remaining. 18v13, 5 lives between these two teams trying to go for the challenge in the middle of the map. Jin Trade at least will be traded all the way out. But can you try to get to the zone to try to stop the clock? John's going to try to pop up, but that angle has been covered and nobody will get there in time. Easter will face 0-3 in this defeat. Trash Bros will go up 5-2 as far as overall series count for this round robin play. And that means more than anything, again, Easter had been fully relegated going in towards this series, but had the potential to play upset, but Trash Bros again, they just seem to be the team to beat. 5-2 now overall, Mick. Mock, Yuli, Hollow, Jintroid, they want that first and second spot. They would love to already get themselves into playoffs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the way they're just standing right now, these guys are playing like a bunch of Oscar the Grouches. I mean, they're inside their cans, but they are pissed off, and they really want to fight for that first place because, I mean, by no means do they show any signs of slowing down. The way they just absolutely not only surgically played the game, but really just kind of nitpicked and surgically worked on themselves to find ways to improve, even in the smallest means during that match and what they were able to bring to the table and saying, you know, we did make a mess up. We did do something. We're not perfect. And you know, as good as we may look right now, we got to stay humble and show that there's still things that can be done rather than just getting hasty and saying, yo, we got this. And I got to say, I really respect the attitude from these guys and how they played it out.
Let's go ahead and take a final look at our best of 5 map set to give you the overall tour guide of how this series unfolded in front of us. It started off with a very fast 250 to 104 on that hardpoint checkmate. And Trash Bros were already over 100 points going in towards P number 3. Yeah, it was that brutal. Moscow Search and Destroy. Trash Bros able to close out a multitude of rounds. They were just so electric, so decisive. Methodical is the word that I heard Mick use quite often, and it was just that, even going into the garrison control. It's just so decisive. This 4-player team between Mock, Yuli, Hollow, and Jintroid with Coach Fade, it just seems to really understand what they are after, and, well, they will achieve just that. I mean, at the very latest, they will go into the knockout bracket again. Sayonara to Easter, there will be relegated. So now they have to play through the qualifier going into stage number 5 if they stick as that full 4. But I mean, Trash Bros, again, when you're thinking about it the rest of the day here, Mick, as far as their stipulations are concerned, their biggest concern is actually happening on the mainstream. It's going to be Nemo actually going up against UT Crew, that if Nemo are able to win this, and it comes down to the overall head-to-head, what was one of those 2 losses while I was talking about versus Trash Bros? It is versus Nemo, and that's the only thing that might end up coming back to hurt them if it comes down to overall seeding and if it comes down to that 3-way tie. But I think that they should feel pretty comfortable going into maybe see that playoff bracket, but there's a lot of other things to unfold. LAG Academy versus the System still has to happen. The System are still 4-2, and if they win versus LAG Academy, that will force a 3-way tie technically between series count. There's a lot going on in the day, but it's still not over. Go over towards youtube.com/COD Challengers to be able to see some mirror matchups. We're going to throw things to a short break. This might only be the matchup that we have for you all here on the community coverage. This is all depending on what everybody else's schedule is looking like. As again, teams are only playing that one final match of their round robin play today. So we're going to throw things to a small break. We'll be right back with a quick update.
Feel the pressure, I do. Tell me this will end soon. My mind's running away, a mile a minute, can't shake it off. A free fall, I'd give anything to make it stop. How can I be an optimist when all this feels infinite? When the darkness finds me, all this feels infinite. There's a brightest point.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the community coverage here. Unfortunate news to tell you that that was our only match that we're going to be covering today. BBG are already through 2 maps, and they are up 2-0 versus Sobriety Gaming. The mainstream, again, is covering UT Crew versus Nemo. A lot of stipulations on that one aside, and I believe the final match will end up being the System versus LAG Academy. Again, that is happening at youtube.com/COD Challenge. Just go there, give IHOLDSHIFT, Visions, and Infinity some love. But Nick, I got to get your final remarks, man. That was a quick 3-0, but overall on the day and for the round robin, there's still a lot to unfold.
I mean, yeah, just also hearing how these other teams are going about right now. I mean, hell, I feel like they should start their own team, call themselves the Custodians, because they're just fucking sweeping everybody right now. It's just insane. Just the way everything's getting cleaned up. But I got to say, just speaking of cleaned up, we got the season kind of wrapping up a little bit. So I feel like, once all of those halls and everything's swept and mopped, I feel like next season is going to be a great little shining thing to see as all these new hopes of light come through and a lot of roster changes possibly come through from, all the teams that didn't possibly get into it, especially see what exactly could unravel. I'm super excited to see what, could actually come from it. And I'm also super excited to see what the outcome of this Nemo's game is going to be.
Yeah. Again, you can find all of that and plus the final coverage of the round robin group play for this week over at youtube.com/COD Challengers. Again, they're finalizing with this control right now on Garrison, UT Crew versus Nemo. UT Crew actually have a 2-0 lead, so go there to make sure that you're all set and ready for that map number 4. But much like Mick had already suggested, it is bye-bye for Sobriety Gaming and Easter. They are relegated. They have to requalify, much like many other different teams going into stage number 5. Trash Bros, as well as Nemo, UT Crew, LAG Academy, and the System, they are feeling safe, but there's still a giant battle for that first and second spot. Playoffs on the line. And already putting yourself in towards stage number 5 is a pretty good place to be. But the seeding is a nice little cherry on top for that Sunday. My name's Proper. I've been joined with Mick, and on behalf of Sport, who's been leading all of the observing and production for the evening, thank you so much, and we hope you keep holding it down. Later. Bye-bye.
Little cast there.